Well, hello there, and welcome back to the Galactic Podracing circuit. I'm Ace, and with me today is Nock.
Hello there. Thanks for having me on.
Yeah, we have a
Match.
great match on our hands today, I think. Metallica versus Nektarn.
Yeah, I'm hoping for another close one here. I've had plenty of matches so far that go, 5-1 or 5-0, but I gather these runners are a bit closer in skill.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I think they actually faced off several times in past tourneys, and it was always pretty close between those two, if I remember correctly. So yeah, it could be a really close one. Let's hope it's gonna be. We're still in the group phase of the tournament. If you're curious about the current standings, you can check out the link in the Twitch chat. And both of these runners are in Group C currently. And Group C is quite the interesting group for sure, because there's potentially 3 pilots that could take first place in this group. So it's highly contested, I would say.
Definitely better that than some of these other groups where it's really a fight for, first or second, and then a fight for third or fourth or elimination.
Yeah, that's kind of the nature of seeding, but yeah, it's definitely nice to have a lot of close matchups in here. Now, if we were to consult the recently created ELO ranking that we made for tournaments specifically, Metallica would be in 4th place with an ELO of 1047, and Nektarn would be in 7th place with an ELO of 1021. So, in theory, this should be quite interesting. And here we go. Looks like we're off. And did Nektarn miss the booster, or did I imagine it?
I didn't quite catch that. I've been looking at Metallica's screen.
Getting the sync pause in here.
Nektarn is a little behind, so it's possible he did miss that start.
Yeah, or almost a second behind, I would say.
And Metallica managing the heat better. They're not underheating through that turn, whereas Nektarn did take a little bit of underheat.
Yeah. So it's 37.9 versus a 39.8. That is almost 2 seconds already. Although, to be fair, Nektarn has more heat left in the tank. The question is, can he use it efficiently?
Neither of them opting for the risky jump strat. You can ride up the wall right after the tube there and jump over some of the turns, but it's pretty dangerous. So not surprised to see both of them eschewing it.
But yeah, like you pointed out on lap 1 already, Metallica definitely managing to keep the heat up much more here compared to Nektarn. Nektarn is underheating quite a bit, and it's costing him. This is almost a 3-second lead already for Metallica at this point.
Yeah, you can see Metallica doing a very good job being on super high heat, as it's quite difficult to boost through this tunnel section as well.
Metallica now approaching the end of lap 3. If he can keep it clean, that's first track for him. And it very much looks like it. That's a very solid time. It's a 1:52.7, and Nektarn coming in with a 1:55.8. So that's track 1 for Metallica. 1-0.
Very clean run from both racers there, both of them taking reasonable lines and playing it safe by not jumping, but yeah, the heat there really hurt Nektarn.
All right. Players will now be getting in their perma buns. Each player gets 2 permanent track buns for the remainder of the match. So let's see what they choose to ban.
Seeing a lot of Abyss banned, and then of course many people banning the big 3 tracks in Grapevine Gateway, Fire Mountain Rally, and Boonty Classic. All 3 very long tracks, very difficult, so easy to make mistakes and lose a lot of time, even as a top runner.
Coincidentally, or maybe not coincidentally, but most of the really hard tracks in this game are among the longest. So, yeah.
And Dobie Mountain Run is the first ban from Metallica. Very technical track, especially at the end. The canyon section can be very difficult to take at speed.
Yeah, one of the hardest non-boosting sections in the game, I would say. And we see Nektarn taking out the Bunta Eve Classic.
Bumpy's Breakers from Metallica. No real surprises here so far. 3 long, difficult tracks.
Oh, there's a
Gaza
surprise.
Speedway.
3 long and difficult ones, and then we have the shortest track in the game.
I don't blame Nektarn for banning that. That is definitely a track where one error and you lose the track. That's it.
Yeah, for sure.
Interesting though, since you would imagine players would be fairly comfortable with it, as it was one of our qualifying tracks and was also, of course, one of the tracks in the David Stubbs Memorial Tourney.
Yeah, I think it's the very fact you just mentioned. If you make one mistake, it doesn't even matter who you're up against. If you crash on the track and your opponent doesn't, you basically auto-lose.
It does make it one of the more exciting tracks to watch, though, as it's probably the best track in the game for an underdog to punch up and take a win.
Yeah, maybe apart from some strategies you can use by using your forces, definitely, yeah.
Okay, Abyss is the ban from Metallica, or the temporary ban for this next track. Definitely a scary track to go to, so really can't blame him there. The track we are going to is the Gauntlet, the longest track by distance, 3rd track of the Invitational Circuit.
Yeah, we're in for a long one here.
Oh, it almost looked like we might not have been. Nektarn considered forcing skips.
But he changed his mind very quickly. It's kind of unfortunate. We have seen some very exciting stuff so far on Gauntlet skips during this year's tournament. But yeah, at this time, we will see the entire track, no forces used.
One of the chiller tracks. There's nothing too terribly hard here except for the final gravity tube. So it'll be about, can the players manage the heat and can they take better lines?
But yeah, I would definitely say the difficulty that this track has very much comes from it being so long. So we can very much expect times around 5 minutes here, maybe a little bit higher than that. So players need to keep up their focus over a period of 5 minutes plus. Here we go. Trying to get the sync person right away here. Here it comes. Oh, it's good enough, I'd say.
Both players getting the difficult boost through that first small chicane. It's actually pretty hard to hold. If you're offline, you will crash.
Yeah, it's pretty unforgiving, I would say. There's no room for error there. Metallica taking the modern route here. Staying on the quote-unquote off-road, even though it's not true off-road, and therefore taking a slightly shorter line. It's not a huge difference, but definitely something that can add up. But they're neck and neck so far.
Neither player opting for the top left path, which is slightly faster, but sort of a newer strategy and something that players may not be comfortable with.
Let's look out for bowl jump. None of them going for bowl jump. Okay. So there's a lot of small little strats that you can do on this track, but obviously each strat you would use adds a little bit of risk, and there we see the first crash. That's gotta hurt.
Yeah, unfortunate there. It was neck and neck up until that point. Those railings are really nasty. Like, in particular, of any wall in the game, those really like to cause you to crash for basically nothing.
Yeah, those railings on the downward spiral, they are very nasty, and you basically cannot touch them whatsoever. If you touch them, you just blow up, like Nektarn just did. And that's about a 5-second lead here for Metallica, maybe even slightly more at this point.
Yeah, Nektarn is gonna have to rely on Metallica making a similar mistake. Both of their tubes very, very clean.
Mm-hmm.
So the racers definitely know this track and are comfortable here.
Now, if we look at previous tournament PBs, Metallica's tournament PB on the full track gauntlet would be a 5:06. and Nektarn's PB would be a 507. So in theory, in terms of potential, they are very close to each other here. But yeah, we have to keep in mind Nektarn already has a crash. And especially crashing this early into a 5-minute run, it's gotta take a toll on your mental, right?
Yeah, it sort of depends on what your mentality is going in. For some players, a crash early can be a relief, but it certainly jar you as well.
Now Metallica approaching a downward spiral again where Nektarn just crashed. Like you said, these railings, they cannot be messed with. You actually cannot touch them.
And actually, we saw Metallica taking a bit of a wide line, maybe for safety there.
Yeah, very much understandable though. And there's another clean tube, it seems, for Metallica. Approaching lap 3 here. Nektarn also with a clean tube, so you can see those runners at least did their homework for the gravity tube here.
Yep, they both look like they've got that memorized, the pattern of inputs they need to do.
There was a very quick lap from Nektarn, but I'm going to say that no matter how good he plays, or no matter how well he plays from this point forward, if Metallica does not crash, it's almost impossible for him to catch back up. So he has to hope that Metallica makes an error here and crashes.
Yeah, the only thing other than a crash that I could think of doing it is if Metallica opts to go for the inside hairpin before the toilet bowl jump and hits the wall and loses a ton of speed, which can happen.
Yeah. I don't think Metallica will go for that though. And even if he would lose speed, I don't think it would be enough to make up the difference that we see at the moment. Yeah, he's taking the safe road.
Yeah, can't blame him at all for that. That inside hairpin is a little faster, but there's just so many ways it can go wrong.
I would even go as far as saying Metallica can afford a crash in the tube right now and still come out ahead. But let's see, both of them approaching the end of lap 3 here. There's the last tube. Metallica taking it safe, and it looks like he's taking this one.
This will probably actually be a tournament PB for him.
Yeah, for sure. Low 504. And I'm really sad that Nektarn took that crash because this would have been so close otherwise.
Yeah, that would have been... He lost maybe 5 seconds for that. That would have been within a few tenths.
Yeah.
Blisteringly fast times from both of them. A 504 is very solid for turn A.
Yeah. The 504 041 from Metallica is the new Gauntlet tournament record. The previous one was a 504.6 by Mikey Burger. Congrats on that one.
A very nice race.
It looks like we're going to get what we wanted in the first place. So the Nektarn using his salty runback option on the Gauntlet, and on top of that, he's using one of his forces to force skips. So we're going to see the Gauntlet skips once again. Well, I know that Metallica probably doesn't mind, because I know that he's pretty solid on the Gauntlet skips. We might even see Drain skip. It's unlikely, but it could happen. Let's see. So basically on the Gauntlet, there's multiple different variants you can do of this, basically the same skip. And what we call the Drain skip is a very, very inconsistent and risky method, but it saves a lot of time over the normal method.
Seeing both players picking Mars Guo here, I would imagine. Definitely the safest for this skip. And correct me if I'm wrong, but Metallica is the world record holder for Inferno skips, correct?
Yes, that's correct, by a total of 5 milliseconds. But yeah, Metallica is extremely good on the Inferno.
You would imagine he's quite comfortable here as well, especially as the Inferno skip does use Mars.
Well, I can tell you that much. Metallica picked the Gauntlet skips last year versus me in Winners Semis. And he almost took it. He would have taken it if he didn't have a really unfortunate crash. So, yeah, I think he's very comfortable here. But so is Nektarn, I would say. So this could be another close one.
Yeah, this will come down to whether the players get the skip first try every time, whether they get bad crashes.
Yeah, and the biggest mistake you can make here, apart from soft locking in the rock, is undershooting the skip. So what you need to pay attention to is once you're doing the skip, you want to at least cross the track from above once, so that if you were to miss it and die out of bounds, you would at least respawn on the right part of the track. If you undershoot the track and you just fall down, you respawn where you started, and that's a really big time loss. But this is a very volatile track and skip, so anything could happen.
Oh, for sure. Even the safe version of this skip can fail sometimes.
Alright, looks like they're off. Gotta sync them up really quick.
Where we
go.
saw times of 5 minutes on this track before, this should be under 3 if the players don't get unlucky and have bad crashes.
Yeah, you can pretty much cut it in half by using the skip. And yeah, like you mentioned, both of them going for the safe version. Let's see. Both of them landing it. Metallica cutting a little bit more mid-air, so that's a very, very slight lead here due to that fact. Both of them with a clean tube.
That tube is much harder with Mars than it is with Ben, since his engines are so much larger.
Mm-hmm.
And 3/10 difference on that lap.
Yeah, neck and neck right here. Metallica using a bit more heat here, but running out early. So yeah, that's still very much on an even footing here. Metallica still with a very, very slight lead. Oh! But he overshot the track at least, so he gets a good respawn. But yeah, this costs 5 seconds, maybe even slightly more in this case.
Yeah, once again, Nektarn is gonna need Metallica to make a mistake or get unlucky.
Yeah, it's a substantial lead. Yeah. Well, a solid 7 seconds for one crash. That's gotta hurt.
Yeah, that crash hurts even more than a normal crash on a full track, since you have to wait for the out-of-bounds timer to destroy you, and then you have the time loss from a normal crash. Alright,
Metallica makes it. There's not much more that can go wrong here, even if he crashes in the tunnel. Looks like Metallica's taking another one. Yeah, very much so. 2:34.3, very nice. And again, you could see Nektarn could keep up here until he crashed. So very unfortunate.
Draco says that's another new tournament record.
Yeah, precisely. The old tournament record was actually held by Nektarn with a 2:35.1, and Metallica beat that by about 8/10 here. And since the UVO tracks are so much fun and everyone likes gravity tubes, we're gonna stay on that planet and we're going to Vengeance next. Yeah, Vengeance is actually the track with the longest gravity tube in the entire game. And this time, Ben is not banned, so we're gonna see a Ben mirror again. And Vengeance is actually a track that's in the amateur circuit, which is the first circuit of the game. But it's very much the most difficult track in that circuit. So it's kind of notorious for being way too difficult for actually being in the first circuit. It is a rather short track though, compared to the Gauntlet. It will take a bit more than 3 minutes.
And this is the other track in the game where you can get soft locked inside of a rock.
Yeah, you certainly want to avoid that. Now you can see both of them actually running with AI. That's for a very specific reason. The AI tends to actually destroy some of the asteroids in the gravity tunnel on lap 1, so that's why you see both of them using one.
Be interested to see whether either player attempts the crossroads boost. Very difficult strategy. It does save a bit of time. Oh, that is very unfortunate for Metallica there.
Looks like we jinxed Metallica, didn't we? But yeah, I very much doubt that anyone would try the crossroad boost in tournament. It's very inconsistent. It's not very inconsistent, but it's extremely risky and it really doesn't save that much time. Oh yeah, that's the first crash for Metallica. Cursed by the commentators.
Yeah, caster's curse. We shouldn't have said anything. Run on very good pace here. Navigating this tunnel. Very clean.
He's taking a little bit of underheat here, but should be fine. Still having a substantial lead at this point. It's a 105 first lap. Let's see what Metallica comes in with. It's a 109.7. That's a 4-second lead. Oh no, there's a crash from Nektarn. So Metallica taking back the lead here.
Oh, we've got a race on our hands now.
Yeah, this is very close. Metallica has the lead though. I would estimate 2 seconds at this point. Roundabout.
Unfortunately, the places where both of them crashed were really awkward for their heat.
Yeah, it actually costs much less time to crash in the gravity tube because the gravity tube itself is fast terrain and that means it speeds you up. So the loss of speed doesn't hurt you that much. It's still very close, but Metallica definitely has the lead here. About 2 seconds, maybe a little bit less. But this is going to be hard to make up just by pure driving. I think Nektarn once again has to rely on Metallica making a mistake.
See what position the crushers are in here. This could be very tricky on that three. Metallica navigates fine, so does Nektarn.
Yeah, this is looking really good for Metallica again. Still has to navigate the end of this gravity tube and then the cave.
Looks like Metallica lost some time somewhere. It's closed up a bit to maybe within a second.
Yeah, he did. Still has the lead though. That's a 3:16 and a 3:17 for Nektarn. Very close. And again, it's. I mean, this time both of them crashed, but you can just tell Nektarn is very close to Metallica, but it just doesn't work out for him. It's either those deaths that cost him, or like a very, very tiny difference in terms of how fast he goes compared to Metallica.
Yeah, it's funny that the score doesn't quite reflect just how close this match has been.
Yeah, not at all. Although it has to be said, Metallica's racing very cleanly in this match.
It's Ben Quadranero's band and Abyss once again. Going to Baru Coast. Let's see if Nektarn wants to use his two remaining forces.
He does not. So we're going to see Barucos, no Ben Cordineros. And from the looks of Nektarn's PB, I would assume he's going for Bullseye.
Bullseye, definitely a reasonable and reasonably safe pick here. He's capable of quite a good time, as it's hard to leverage the longer boosts of some of the other pods. And Bullseye's turn rate lets him take these turns very, very tight.
Now I'm curious what Metallica will be going for. Is he gonna go for Bullseye as well? He has a 4-minute flat with Bullseye, so yeah, it looks like it. Metallica's PB actually 7 seconds faster than Nektarn's here. With the same pod. But this is one of the more, well, I would even say one of the most difficult tracks in this game, at least if you do it with Ben. So a lot can happen here. But this is match point for Metallica. Nektarn needs to step his game up here if he still wants a shot at winning this match. The stakes aren't that high, has to be said. Both of them are still in group phase. And these two and Banana Boat Kid are essentially fighting for the win of their group. So if Nektarn loses this match, he can almost not win the group anymore. He can still aim for second or third. So match point Metallica. Nektarn needs to take this, or Metallica will win this match.
And if he wants to take it, the whole thing, he's got an uphill battle against 4 of Metallica's counter picks and all of his forces.
Oh yeah, no doubt. And they're synced up. Let's see what's gonna happen here on Baru Coast. So both of them approaching the hairpin section here, which is a series of very tight turns, but since they're on Bullseye, it's actually not that difficult to take them cleanly here.
It's like through a combination of heat and lines, Metallica is quite a bit ahead already.
Yeah, you can see Metallica using a lot more boost here in these tight sections, and that is pulling him ahead.
Both keep boost up the hill, but Nektarn going wide.
Yeah, it's quite a big lead already here, considering this has only been through boosting and lines, like you said. But there's a crash from Metallica.
That'll eat that back up.
Yeah, that will put Nektarn in the lead here, but not by very much actually.
Oh, I see. That's part of what happened there on the first lap, probably. Nektarn taking a very conservative line over that jump.
Yeah, and also approaching the beach here. Very safe line. Metallica almost caught up already. Can really see he's going a lot more aggressive on these turns, taking tighter lines and just getting that little bit more boost in compared to Nektarn.
Well, he must know.
Basically tight again here.
Metallica just a little faster out of the tunnel. Yeah, he must be feeling that crash and knows he has to make up some time.
He takes back the lead though. It's almost a second lead for Metallica right here.
I'd really love to see Nektarn taking that tighter line over the jump there.
Yeah, Nektarn very much going safe here. They're still very close to each other, so one mistake could seal it right here.
there's definitely not enough time to make up another crash.
Like approaching the end of lap 3. There's only a few corners left right here. A few corners between him and victory.
At this point, it's just so hard to make a big enough mistake to crash. Yeah,
There he goes.
It's a new lap record.
It's a 4-3 and that's the match for Metallica. And even though Nektarn PBs here, Metallica takes the win.
Well, that was some very impressive racing from both of the players. Very clean for all of the races. And of course, Nektarn getting some personal PBs and Metallica taking down some tournament records.
Yeah, very nice match for sure. Very high quality here. And a bit heartbreaking for Nektarn. But you could tell that Nektarn can very much be up there.
Yeah, really, the 5-0 does not reflect how close this match was.
Well, hello there. And GG's.
GG.
GG.
Oh, my
So,
hand is tired now.
yeah, I mean, there was a 5-0, but it really felt so much closer than a 5-0.
Yeah, that was, I mean, some of those picks were really good. I think Nektarn was really good at gauntlet skips last year, so when he chose to pick that, I was pretty nervous. And then in Vengeance as well, I took that early death, and it was like only a second apart in the end.
Oh, did you crash on Vengeance?
Yeah.
Did you go crashless on the other tracks?
I crashed on Baru Coast. I don't remember the rest.
Yeah, I think you took one crash on Baruchos and one crash on Vengeance. But the rest was crashless, I think.
I think I crashed on every map. Maybe not on Baru actually, but I think every other map.
Yeah, it was unfortunate to see because you were actually so close on basically all of the tracks. But then, for example, on Gauntlet, the death was basically the only difference. So, yeah.
It was unfortunate.
Still a very strong showing from both of you, so well done. So yeah, there was some very clean racing. Only 2 crashes from Metallica, and even from Nektarn also only 4 crashes and 5 tracks. Is quite impressive actually. So yeah, thanks for the quality racing. It was very much enjoyable to watch.
It was fun to play.
Yeah.
Congratulations, Metallica, for taking tourney records on Gauntlet full track and skips.
Well, yeah, I don't know how that happened. Well, is it just for this tournament or for the past one? Because Mikey
Overall.
said something about... okay. I don't know how that happened.
Well, you raced pretty well apparently.
Apparently. When I was preparing for this match, I remembered that Nektarn placed a bit lower than everyone else last year, so I was feeling overconfident, but then when I started actually looking at all of his stats, he is much better than I thought. It just seems that I guess he gets a bit unlucky and takes some extra losses here and there, but he's really good. Like, he has some really great times. I think you could do really well on this tournament.
Yeah, we'll see.
Yeah, I definitely can't wait to see you guys race again. And again, thanks for the great match.
I was a bit upset that you banned Abyss every time. I guess it's expected,
yeah,
but it was my game plan to pick Abyss early. So
yeah, that was specifically because I knew you would pick it probably.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was fun to commentate. Thank you for joining me, Nock. I had a lot of fun.
Yeah,
And,
pleasure as always.
Thank you for watching, Podracing fans. Thank you for Speed Gaming for hosting us. And of course, again, thanks to the runners for this awesome match. Looking forward to the next one. And as always, may the force be with you.
Yeah, good races to the runners, and we'll see you later for more pod racing.